Pepper, correct?
Yep.
Pepper, a boxer, and you guys are just looking, to kind of cover the leash pulling, some potty training, and a recall.
Yeah, I guess just those are the biggest things, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think we tried the full training. I mean, I think potty training is the biggest one, but like walking good, if she could walk without a leash would be amazing.
Yeah.
Because you guys do it with, you guys use the collars or?
Yeah, we use e-collars. I'll explain later what an e-collar is, but first, go ahead and fill me in on Pepper, what you're seeing now, and what your goals are with Pepper. So just go ahead and fill me in.
Okay, so we got Pepper in January. She's here. She just got spayed today, so she's a little under. She's a little tired and whatever from her surgery. But
okay,
we got her in January, and we just were not good in the beginning. Like, she was sleeping in my son's bedroom at first, and then she was going to my husband. My husband has like an office, and she had free reign of the office, and then she would come home. And then we went away, and so the potty training wasn't working, right? Because she had no confinement. But it was hard to keep her in the crate because she was crying all the time. But then we went away for about 10 days in March, and we were with this guy boarded her, and she was more in like a pen, like I don't think a crate all the time, but a pen. And after that trip, we just decided, because she was not getting the potty training, that she had to be in the crate, actively playing with us, or we have 3 kids, or outside of the home. Mm-hmm. So pretty much more or less since then, she has been crate trained, but she's still having accidents. Like, it's not.
But not very, before it would be like.
She's made it 9 days without an accident was her best run. Because they say 21 days you need to be potty trained for a dog generally.
All dogs are different. Some dogs get it within 1 night. Other dogs takes a little longer. But
yeah. So now I feel like we've reset the clock to day 1 so many times in the last 10 days.
I think she won't have an accident in front of you, but she'll go. She'll find somewhere else.
No, because she's crate. So no, the only accidents that she's had now are in her crate. What do you mean she goes somewhere? She's not. When I'm at home, she is never allowed freedom in the house.
Yeah, in her critical times, but when she has an accident in the last month, it's not in front of you. She knows she's not supposed to do it. She'll go.
Oh, I disagree. I have not seen that happen because she's been in a crate 100. When has she had an accident outside of the crate? Yeah. But anyway. It's not going well.
Okay.
And so we adopted a dog that was a boxer mix, and she, to be honest, was never completely potty trained. So it is so important to me that if this dog isn't potty trained, she's never going to leave her crate in my mind, because our previous dog, it was just a really bad experience for me that she had accidents and ruined rugs for the 11 years that we had her.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay.
But I think our other dog got trained really well on the collar. For a while, she was able to walk. You could walk with her in the city with no leash. It was awesome.
Yeah. Is this your second dog you guys owned?
Yeah, our second dog.
Okay. And then your last dog was a rescue, you said?
Yeah, we got her from the, that Humane Society on Grand Avenue, somewhere downtown. Yeah, or LaSalle.
Okay, and it was a boxer as well?
Mix, yeah, probably not full, but some boxer in her.
Okay, and how was that dog? It was just the potty train that was an issue? Was it a girl or boy? So I can.
She was a girl. So
we had a dog door. We lived with her in a couple different houses. And every house, she always had a dog door, so we never really had to train her. Mm-hmm. Then when we moved to a house without a dog door, she was used to her dog door kind of the whole way.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. Anything else I should know about Pepper?
I mean, she's, like our same as our old dog, like a very similar personality. She's very sweet. She's very good with the kids. She's so gentle with them. She loves when they play with her, and but I just like an insane amount of energy, right? And we know that about boxers, that they have a ton of energy. But she gets a ton of walks. Like we walk a mile each way to take our kids to school, and we take her to the park, so she's getting a lot of exercise. I think it just never feels like enough because we walk her, but we don't run. I think she needs one of us to like take a run with her every day, like a jog.
Mm. And then on the walks, does she pull you guys, or what do you guys walk? What do you guys use for her walks? Is it a harness or a collar or gentle leader?
A collar or a harness.
Collar or harness. Okay. Anything else?
No, I mean, yeah, she pulls. She definitely is not trained on the leash at all. She lunges at other dogs.
Does she bark?
No. She's not a barker, no.
Lunges.
When it's one-on-one, if it's just me walking with her, she walks pretty good. It's like when the kids are around, a lot's going on.
Even if it's just me by myself, like it is so not fun to walk her because she's getting bigger and stronger, and it's so unenjoyable for me because she's strong and she's like, you can't just walk down the street. It's like constantly holding her so tight.
Yeah. Okay. Let me write that real quick. Okay. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Pretty much it.
I think like when we take her to the park, we go to like by North Pond, and it's not like a fence, so everyone leaves their dog kind of off leash, and we do it to her. It'd be nice if you could call her and she'd come back.
Yeah, the recall.
Recall. Okay. Okay. Okay, and so I kind of got a little information of like what your goals are with Pepper, but if you were to have everything you'd like with Pepper, what would that look like in life?
For me, no accidents. I want a dog that's not on the furniture, but I don't want her to have to be in her crate all the time either. Like I want her to be part of the family, and we watch TV, like lay in a dog bed in front of the TV, with us.
Mhm.
But yeah, when you take her out, she's not pulling. When you tell her to sit, she sits. When you tell her to come, she comes back. Yeah, I think just like a really well-mannered dog that's not sleeping in beds or couches. Like at night, I feel like she needs her own dog bed, whether that's the crate for a year or two, or whether we can just like, we do have a big circle bed for her. Maybe eventually, it would be nice if we could put that in the kids' room and she could sleep with them. They would love that. But you have to be potty trained and know that that's like her bed and that's where she stays.
I guess if she needs to go out, there's a way to let us know.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Cool. So I'm gonna touch real quick on like the potty training.
Mm-hmm.
So is Pepper on his schedule?
She eats breakfast. I would say at 7:00 because we leave at 7:35 to walk.
Usually we wake up and first thing we take her out of the crate, and she uses the bathroom, both pee and poo. Then we bring her back in. Everyone gets ready. She eats breakfast with everyone, and then we take her for a walk. We walk to get to school, and then she usually goes out about every 2 hours.
And then she eats at about 6:00 when we eat usually, and then she'll get like another walk at night to go pee, to eliminate.
But she probably gets 5 walks a day.
Yeah, she definitely gets a lot of exercise on most days.
Okay.
Or walks, not runs. When we have time, we take her to by North Pond where she can just run in the field.
Okay. And then for like potty stuff, like does she have a potty schedule?
So
right when she gets up, always.
Yeah, right when she gets up, I mean, then she usually goes on our walk when we take the kids to school. Then usually she comes back to the house. I put her in her crate and I take her out in 2 hours, like every 2 hours until, so maybe just twice because I leave at usually 2:30 to take the kids back to school and she walks with me or pick the kids up.
Okay, so like every 2 hours, you said?
She very rarely goes longer than 2 hours, except at night. I think she goes in her crate by 10 and we take her out at 6-ish.
So she goes in her, okay, I see.
And most days she is actually dry. All like she can go 8 hours in the night, no problem.
Okay,
I
Right.
noticed that's a lot dependent on like the days where maybe she doesn't have enough walks or something. There's more accident, like an accident at night is more likely to happen.
Like sometimes at night we go to sleep early, so she goes in the crate early, or you try to take her out and she just doesn't want to take a walk. She's like putting the brakes on. You bring her in, and if she won't, I think that's when she has accidents. If you don't stay out long enough for her to do everything,
Mhm.
then
okay,
But she has not pooped in her crate in months. It's just
Okay.
pee. So that's good.
that's good. And then for feeding, do you guys free feed her, or is it just the bowl comes down, she eats, and then it's taken away?
Yeah.
And then how about for the water?
Water is out all day until like, so she gets water with dinner. We take her out and then the water gets pulled away.
Okay. Um, so for potty training, so since she's like, I'll use I'll use a 3-month-old puppy, for example. That crate is going to be your best friend for potty training, because for potty training, you need a negative and you need a positive. So let's say you wake up at 7:30, you let her out. She's 10 months, so technically she can hold it like you said for like about 8 hours.
Wait, she's 6 months.
Oh yeah, she's 6 months. My bad. So she can hold it for 6 hours then.
Okay.
So we'll use maybe like 3 hours or like the 2 hour mark. Let's say you're doing, which you can do more. Let's say three. So you let her out in the morning, and then so that's 7:30, right? And then you do another walk, so like that's 8. So technically her potty schedule will start at like 8:30, right? So then,
Well, so we take her out at 6 a.m. usually and then 7:30. Yeah. So, but then we're back at 8, I guess. So yeah, you're saying 8, take her out at 11.
so yeah. So when 8 a.m. comes, her next outing, if we're doing the 3 hours, it'd be 11. So if you wanted her to kind of free roam before, that's fine. But at like 10:30, you would want to crate her. And let's say she has an accident in the crate before you take her out. Let's say at 10:30, she has an accident in the crate, but her next outing is at 11. You want to leave her in the crate with her mess until 11, because that is a negative for potty training of just she has to go. Because a lot of owners will want, like they'll say, Pepper lets me know when she wants to go, and she didn't let me know and she went. That's where the issue will start. There's an issue there because she's going when she wants to go versus when you guys want her to go. So if we create a schedule for her, and then if she goes before that schedule, she needs to deal with that potty mistake in the crate so that there's a negative with the potty training, right? So once, because we'll do it here with the puppies, if we have like 3-month-old 2-month-old puppy, every 2 hours they get potty, and then if they're not playing, if they're not playing or training, they're in the crate. And then if they happen to have an accident before the 2 hours in the crate, they have to sit with it and deal with it.
Mhm.
We limit water. We don't free. Oh,
She's only having accidents at night in the crate. She'll never have an accident during the day in a crate.
okay. So
But she is sitting and dealing with it.
okay. So so she's not peeing outside of the crate, or is she peeing outside of the crate
Meaning like if
in the home?
the only accidents that she's really having are at night in the crate. I mean, I shouldn't.
It's because she's always like on a leash. Other than that, I think if she wasn't on the leash, she'd be having.
Yeah.
So say that. What was that?
So like if she's not in the crate, like we'll kind of keep her on the leash with us in the house, so she can't kind of roam around. I think if she wasn't on the leash and she could kind of free around the house, she would find places to go.
Yeah, exactly. So that's
But
good.
so like what you're saying, I get is that like if she had an accident during the day in the crate, she has to sit with it, but that doesn't happen for us.
Okay. What time? When do you end water and food?
I would say by like 6:30.
Okay. And then how much water is she getting a day for the days?
Shoot, it's kind of open.
Yeah, it's like every time. So usually like we take her out, I let her have water, then I put her in her crate. And then 2 hours later, I take her out, let her have water, put her in her crate.
Okay. How much water are you giving her?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because I just fill up the bowl as needed.
So try not to do that. We only give I forget the measurements. Per ounce per pound for the dog. I'll send this in the follow-up email.
Okay, maybe she's having too much water.
Yes. Signs that she's overhydrated would be clear urine. So like if it's coming out clear, she's overhydrated. So if you come in and you're in the morning and then you see her kennel and it's like, you probably won't be able to tell if you have like a black tray or something. But if it's like a lot of water or urine, that means it's overhydrating. If she's peeing throughout the day and you see it's clear, overhydrating. So
Yellow, I feel like.
yeah, so I'd cut off, I measure her, I give her water for her weight. I wouldn't just give water, like fill the bowl, because that's already telling me that's like if she's not able to hold it, then she can't have that much water. So I just give it ounce per pound.
Okay.
And then
But what about like when we take her to just go run a lot? Doesn't just like a person, don't you need more water when you like really?
You need to kind of be a step ahead, like, okay, we only give her water for breakfast, and then when we go for a walk, she gets water here. So that means she's probably gonna have to pee a little more. So then there'd be like an extra outing or something, and then the crate. Some dogs, take a while for a potty train, but I start shortening or giving less water for her if she's still having accidents. And then you said you cut it off at like 6, right?
Yeah.
And then her last outing is
Usually 7, right?
Probably 9.
Well, okay, yeah. I would say at 9 o'clock we usually take her out to pee one last time. We don't walk her always.
okay. And then so I just tried giving less water. What kind of kibble is she eating? From? Is she like when you give her water, does she like drink all of it? Like does she look thirsty when she's drinking it?
No, I feel like a lot of times I'm just changing her water because it looks kind of dirty. Like she got some cat food in it. Like I don't think she's emptying her bowl.
Okay.
I don't necessarily think she's over drinking water because there's always water in her bowl, and because I switch it a lot just to clean it.
Okay. I just try giving less, experimenting with that, and then cutting it off when you're cutting it off the same time. 6 is good. But is it like for like this past week, how has it been? Is it consistent? Like, is it like every day?
The accident at night? Yeah, and that's like a new thing.
Oh, it's a new thing.
And I just like, and maybe because it's like her bed, like her bed's in the dryer right now. Like,
oh, wait, is she sleeping? Is she in the crate with her bed?
It's like a crate puffy. She has a different bed that does not fit in the crate, but she has, like we got her like one of these puffy mats that we put in the crate.
It's like what's the material? Like when she pees on it, do you have to like does it soak it up or is it like still there? Like
it's like a sunbrella,
but it's been going through.
So that's gonna be an issue. Because if we have like a blanket or something in the crate and they pee, Well, the blanket is taking the pee away, so she doesn't have to deal with it technically. And then also, how big is her crate?
You want to go show them
It's
the stand, like the
24
standard
by 36.
one? Whatever.
36 inch?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so okay, I think that's like the medium sized one, right? The medium size.
Yeah, the medium sized one.
Yeah. Okay. So I was asking because one, probably get rid of any bedding, anything else, and just keep it just the tray only, so that the urine stays there and it's like there, and instead of it's soaking away, then it's kind of gone. She doesn't have to deal with it, and also making sure that the crate is the perfect size to where she can stand up, turn around, and lay down. That's it. She shouldn't be able to like walk to a corner, pee, go to the other corner, and lay down. But it sounds like
It's probably fine now.
yeah, yeah. But I'd
Well,
get
like the one thing with this pillow, like I think because she'll bark if she pees in the morning, like she'll bark and bark when she does it, because it's like it's real plush. So if she pees, it all kind of goes to one spot, which is where she's at.
okay.
But no, I guess that's true. Like she probably is going to be a lot more uncomfortable if we take all the bedding out. Like, is that just something in our mind? Like a person needs a pillow, so the dog should have a pillow.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if the dog if she stops having potty mistakes, then you can give it another go, right? Because sometimes like the dogs will get like sores from the crate and stuff, annoying to deal with. So I'd take it away for now and
So
just
put nothing in the crate at night, just
correct,
nothing. Okay.
correct. Um, and then okay, so nothing in the crates. The crate seems the right size. Try giving less water. What else? What else is there? Um, so that's potty training. Just a little. I just wanted to give you guys that information because it's just it's easy to give, you know. So for obedience, do you see your like for life? I know you guys want the like wanting her to walk off leash and everything, but for activity wise, do you guys? I'll give some examples and goals and everything like that and lifestyle. So do you see your guys walking Pepper, like taking her for a walk? You go to the dog park and then you need her to come when called, or you do the walk, you go to the dog park, and then you need that come when called, and then sitting at restaurants or like outdoor patios, would you like her to lay next to you? Or do you do all of those things and then you also would like to go off leash hiking or something in the woods?
Yeah, I think all of those things.
All of
All
them?
those things, and then yeah, I mean,
In a perfect world, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's might
hey
be
guys, close the door.
it might be a little ambitious, but
But she's good. Like you could tie her out outside somewhere when you go into like a store, and she's fine. She's good in restaurants. I feel like tied to the chair, and she'll sit there. We do go out like to this lake, and there's no fence. She'll take off if she has the chance. That'd be nice. But then we got getting one of those fee collar. I think they're called fee collars. You can do that. What?
The e-collar?
I think it's called like Fee or Halo. I've looked at two. They like with the GPS, you can put the points in to kind of keep them in a boundary.
Oh, okay, okay. The Halo. That's the Caesar Milan collar. I think he just made it, right?
Yeah.
The Halo one, yeah. Yeah, I
Or
would.
there's a better one that you recommend.
Yeah, so so it sounds like you guys know that we train with electronic collars, correct?
Yeah.
mhm.
Cool. So what do you guys know about electronic collars or e-collars? They're called.
I don't know. We had one before for other dog, and it was amazing. She went away for 12 days, trained on an e-collar. How great she was when she came back. Just like, not that you have to buzz her, but just like the noise, and she'd be right by your side.
Mhm.
It did make, I thought it made a huge difference.
Cool. Yeah, so for e-collar, it's we don't use the noise vibration function or anything. We use like the stimulation from the collar itself. Have you guys ever been to a physical therapist?
Mhm.
And then have you ever had like the stim where it's like they put like a patch on you and then like it like moves your muscles or like it like just does its own thing? No, it's called a TENS unit. So like physical therapists have it and like they put it on like a muscle or something like or whatever tear or whatever you have, and they ask you like they raise the level and they tell you let us know when it's uncomfortable, and then once they say okay I'm uncomfortable, they put it 2 levels down and they let the machine do its work. It's called a TENS unit. The same technology used for that is used in electronic collars. So like they're also sold at Walgreens. It's like and then it's like commercials too where like it says like well grow a 6-pack or get a 6-pack overnight, and then like you just let the machine do its work or whatever. Like it like moves the muscles, muscle contracted. So that same technology is used for e-collars, at least the brand we use. The brand we use is called Dogtra. It's got 127 levels, and comparing it to like the cheaper collars, like the old style collars where it's like 5 levels, that fifth level is equal to our 127 level. So we have just more numbers, 117 more numbers to be more specific to the dog's personality, behavior, or whatever we're dealing with. So the issue with the lower or cheaper e-collars was that a 4 could make your dog yelp, but then a 3, your dog wouldn't listen. So then there was like a little confusion there. So for our dog show, it'd be, if 40 makes your dog yelp and then 30 he doesn't listen, then we can go to 35, right? So it's just a muscle contractor. It's got 2 contact points on it. All little dogs, big dogs, dogs who are 6 months. We start e-collar training once the dog has reached the 6 months and over. It's just because they're able to grasp the idea of like consequence and like pressure. And also like usually by then, like I think like well Jesse will say this, like by then when the dog has reached 6 months, the owners have been tired of it and they're like, yeah, we'll do e-collar training now because they're tired of the puppy or whatever. But that's e-collar. Trainers, everyone uses it differently. Some trainers, they make the dog or they put the dog in a situation where they'll do something bad like jumping, and they'll turn it all the way up and just slam the dog, which is the incorrect way to teach e-collar. We have a few exercises that we teach dogs to let them know how to turn on and how to turn off the e-collar, to let them know that they're the ones in control of it, right? Um, any questions so far about e-collar?
Oh.
Yeah. Um,
Does the e-collar that you use have like a GPS option to it?
no, it does not. I know. I think that we had a client here who put a GPS on the collar, and like it. I'm not sure how that worked or whatever. I didn't even notice it was on because he had longer fur and everything. But um, yeah, I'm not sure what brand that would be for that. Um, what brand was the e-collar that you guys?
For that soccer, who's this kid, Tim? I was talking to a guy and he had like a Apple. Apple has one. And it's just like find your eye. It's an Apple app for your dog. But that's like if it's lost. The ones we were looking at more so we can put like a boundary around a yard. Which
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. So that's more like of a like electronic fence you're kind of looking at.
Yeah, I think it was also just for tracking if they got lost.
Yeah.
But it's not actually putting a fence. So you could change your coordinates anywhere you go. If
Yes.
you're at house, you could.
A moving electronic fence, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds pretty
And also just if they got lost, if they got out, you could track them.
for sure. But yeah, the brand we use doesn't have a tracker. um, so since you're looking more towards, the obedience, everything sounds pretty easy. The fact that she's coming home after your 5 walks and she's still having energy is a sign of overstimulation. So when a dog's overstimulated, the brain just can't settle and there's no off switch.
Mhm.
So without actually addressing the overstimulation, once we start like that first class, usually is when you'll start to see Pepper go home after a walk and just knock out. Because on these walks, we can physically make Pepper like walk next to us, right? But mentally is how we get the dog to become tired and focus and being on our left side with no leash tension, nothing like that. In any environment, if we take 5 steps, Pepper takes 5 steps. If we take 10, she takes 10. If we stop, Pepper is to automatically sit at our side. Again, no leash tension. This is a slack leash in any environment. So we like to train our clients at Oz Park. In Oz Park, I don't know if you guys have heard of Oz Park.
Yeah, we live right by it, so that's
Nice.
great.
So it's like the busiest park. So we're working at Oz Park now. So we meet all our in-person clients there. We try to, because if you can train Pepper at Oz Park, you basically can train her pretty much anywhere. It's just how busy it is, right? With baseball games, off-leash dogs, bikes, skateboards, everything is literally there. Um, so with the reason why Pepper's overstimulation might just go away is because, like I said, we're controlling her mentally. And once we control a dog mentally, they become more exhausted since they have to focus throughout the whole walk. Where, like, what's mom doing or where's dad going? Like, they have to stay on that left leg, right? Um, if you're wanting the off-leash life, so how it goes is for the in-person programs, we have the 6 week, the 9 week, and the 12 week. So 6 week program is like I take my dog, I walk my dog, I take my dog to the dog park, and then I need recall when I'm done enough at the dog park, right? The 9 week is I do all those things and I go to outdoor patios and I need Pepper to lay down in the down command for an hour or two and just not move. Then the 12 week is you do all those things and then you do the like the off-leash hiking, and it sounds like that's what your guys are like looking for, is like that off-leash life. Um, um, any questions so far?
No, I mean, so when you say 6, 9, or 12 weeks, is that like you meet a couple times a week
Oh,
or?
it's an hour a week, so
Oh, okay.
if you chose the 12, it'd be 12 classes, 1 hour a week. So like it'd be like Monday, for example, Monday at 1 for 12 weeks. And then you get 13 time slots. So it's 12 times, like your 12 lessons plus 1 time slot in case you guys have to cancel or, because something happens, life happens or whatever. So if we have to reschedule, you still have a time slot there for you. So no one can take your time away from you. It's still there. Once you use that extra time slot, then you would have to wait for availability, or if you wanted to change the date to get that last class in, or however many. Um,
What about, like, I know we're going out of town
Mhm.
probably in about a month. Like, do you have availability to board and train?
Yes. So the board and train program, how that works, is we have 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 week. Um, think of the 4 week program as like equal to the 12 in-person program, right? So the 4 week would get you to that off-leash obedience. One second.
Mhm. You should call like your cousin Colleen and just talk to her about it first. Maybe be like, "I think we're gonna come," don't you think?
You have a number? I told Owen.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Mm. You don't have the number?
You have an email, all right?
Instagram.
Tomorrow.
Should be fun.
It's been a nice day.
Okay, sorry. Um, So we do have availability for the board and train program. The way the board and train program works is if we have, if you do the 4 week, you get 4 1-hour videos, and we film everything. So we film the first introductory sessions for you guys. So you see how Pepper took the e-collar, and how we worked through whatever Pepper showed, like what, because e-collar is a stressor, right? It stresses dogs out. So if her stress response is flight, like, trying to get away, you see how we work through that. Now, I'm not saying, so don't think that e-collar is making your dog flighty, right? Or like, they want to avoid stressors, because that's just her stress response. She was always flighty. And I'm just saying this as an example. I'm not saying Pepper's flighty, right? Or we might see some anxiety. It just pops out because it's already there, right? So we film everything so you guys can see how we work through the commands, and we teach all the commands in one day. So you'll get that video as soon as possible. And then you also get, I forget how many hours of follow-up, but you get a lot of follow-up time. So let's say, you guys will be out of town. So these follow-up.
I mean, we'd be out of town for like a week and a half.
Okay, I see.
You say 3 weeks, we'd be back for part of it.
Okay. Yeah, so you can schedule the follow-ups whenever you like. So let's say you do the 4 week, right? And then you're only gone for a week. After that week, you can come visit her. You can visit her whenever you want. But then let's say you want to follow up when you come back. So you're a part of the training, like as she's getting to that off-leash obedience, right? You can schedule a follow-up in the middle of her program so that you're part of it and you're just kind of updated on what she's learning and everything, right? So we film everything. We go through phases with her. So it's like the short leash phase, long leash, and then we start training her in like our playpen here with like the leash dragging, and then like in the playpen with like other dogs running around her and just testing her obedience. And then the 4th week, we take her to a park down on Western's called, what's it called? I think it's called Horner Park. And just film that walk and just showing you how we apply her obedience in like a real life situation, right?
Where are you guys located at?
Logan Square.
Okay.
We're in Logan Square, 2700 North Campbell off Western.
Oh yeah.
We're right by Maplewood, the brewery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sort of right. It's like literally like our neighbor right here. So that's like the board and train. Pros and cons for the board and train is that we get it done fast. Like it's just the 4-week program if you're looking for off leash. The cons are that the training is tied to us, right? E-collar is very transferable. So there should never be a moment where let's say both of you guys are like partner number 1, partner number 2, right? Partner number 1 is saying, Pepper's good with me, or Pepper's good with partner number 2, but not with me. That should never happen because, on your remote, if you're pressing 30, it should be the same as partner number 2 pressing 30, right? It's very transferable. So for another example would be if we're doing it in person and we're working with a couple, like partner number 1 who goes first will do all the hard work, right? And then once they're finished, they give it to partner number 2, and it's just a breeze. Like they don't have to do any of the hard work because it's already been done. So don't, there's no worry of, getting her back, and, because there's some trainers out there, like, clients have told us like, yeah, our dog's only good when the trainer's here. But when the trainer leaves, the dog's terrible. That won't happen for e-collar. Any questions about the board and train program?
Would it be possible to like do a mixture of because instead of sending her away for 4 full weeks, like the week we're gone, we'll be gone for maybe like over a week, have her obviously stay like board and train, but then do like during the day training and we just bring her home at night. So, or does that not work?
So you want to do let's say 1 week board and train, And then
Maybe it's 2 weeks of board and train and 2 weeks of like daycare and train.
daycare and train. That should work. It's just the follow-ups would be different because you get more follow-ups with the board and train. You get less follow-up with the daycare and train.
Or meaning like, or I don't know, would you send her away for 4 weeks?
No, I like that idea. And then even like maybe if it's something that for those 2 weeks, when we bring her, when we pick her up, that we could do like an in-person training for half an hour, 45 minutes, something like that. When we pick her up.
Yeah. We like.
We're kind of involved in it, but then she's not gone for 4 weeks.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So, for a train, daycare and train. I'll make a note.
Great.
I'll make a note. But we've done it before. We had a dog come in. They were planning to do a 2-week board and train, and then I think something happened where like they came home a week early. So then their last week, there was just daycare and train. So like they still bring the dog and then they just pick it up at the end of the day. So I don't see a problem with it. Well, I'll just confirm with Jesse, see if that will work, and then how availability would be with the daycare and train. But yeah, I don't see an issue with that. It'll be the same. If once those videos are out, and then let's say you come pick up Pepper, we would do like follow-up just to give you guys something to practice at home, and then you can also practice whatever you see in the videos. So it'd be you practice, and then the next follow-up we see, or like the next time we see you for the follow-up, it'd be like, show us what you've been practicing, and then we can like help you, or if you're doing everything great, you're doing everything great. Does that make sense? So I think I don't see an issue with it.
And what is like, how quickly could she start
For the board and train,
for the daycare and train, either way?
I'm not sure what the schedule's looking like because we have already like 4 dogs that are wanting daycare and train, but the board and train is more open. But I'm pretty sure it'd be fine. I will include that in my follow-up email of how available or open we are with that.
That's like the thing, we really want to find somebody. So we're most likely gone June 11th through June, let's say 20th.
June 11th to the 20th.
So we would want her board and trained, but maybe it's like the 11th to 25th. She does the board and train or something, the 2 weeks.
Okay.
Or the 9th through the 23rd, or
You don't know we're gonna be in Wisconsin.
yeah, or so I don't know, maybe it could be like June 6th to 20th we pick her up, somewhere around those days. We might have to drive in just to get her.
But we can't do the daycare afterwards.
So ideally, and I don't know if it's possible, but we'd start like next week the daycare and train for 2 weeks, and then it would be 2 weeks of board and train.
Okay.
First, and then
the daycare first, and then when we're out of town, and then hopefully we'd pick her up, when we come home and she'd be trained. We'd do like some follow-up sessions with you or whatever, but.
So you want the daycare and train to happen first, and then you want to go into the board and train.
Only because with our schedule and starting as soon as possible.
Okay, daycare and train would start, or ideally, when would you like to start daycare and train here?
So she just got spayed today. So when do you think, like, how does that affect like the training? Yeah.
She's had to like rest because she's got stitches and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're doing like recall work, like she has to move, or like the heel she's moving.
I'd say in an ideal world would be like
May 31st.
May 31st, that Monday. She'd do that. She'd do 2 weeks. She'd do 2 weeks of board and train, and then a week and a half of
2 weeks of
2 weeks of daycare and training, and then a week and a half of board and train.
So 2 weeks.
So ideally, I think with her Spain today, the earliest she could start is the 31st, right, Mike?
Well, we're not going to be here.
Well, we're going to come back that day.
June 1st.
Okay.
June
So
1st to the 4th, like 4 days of boarding, and then
You mean boarding,
no,
daycare and training? Do you
daycare.
do it on the weekends or just the weekdays?
for the daycare and training,
Yeah.
it's up to you guys. We're open on the weekends as well.
Okay, yeah. So if she could go like starting the 1st.
to the 4th, and then she could start boarding the 7th,
Okay,
and then she go to the 7th to the.
like 21st.
Okay. Yeah, you guys. I can't really schedule anything right now. It's
I'll put in your email with date, like to see if that works.
Or I guess if you could just let it's June. So basically June 1st on is when we would like to start.
okay. Okay, yeah, because yeah, it's just to get an idea. Any questions about the e-collar or anything like that?
I don't think so.
So, some common questions clients have with the e-collar is, when does the e-collar come off? The e-collar is on when you need it. So if you're going to go for a walk with Pepper, the e-collar will be on. The reason why the e-collar will be on all the time throughout these walks is because we can't predict what's going to happen in life. So let's say you're walking with Pepper, you don't have the e-collar on, and then a car crash happens right next to you. Pepper might get super scared and might go into flight mode, and then let's say she just happens to break out the prong, or she slips out the harness, or not the prong, her regular collar, and slips out the harness, right? There's no way to get her back to you since she's in flight mode. When dogs go in flight mode, and especially in that situation, they're literally thinking kill or be killed, right? The only thing that can override that mindset is e-collar. So if you don't have the e-collar, then she's just gone, right? So then the e-collar would be on. Same thing for like, fireworks, or like if something, if anything were to happen, the e-collar is there for like emergency situations later on in life, right? Now let's say
Potty more as a recall tool or more as a stop tool?
kind of both. The recall is to stop her from going in a certain direction, but then the e-collar can. The reason why e-collars works is because it has power. So you need a lot of power to override the brain in like for behavior work, right? Because it's a behavior. It's not really there's no obedience here. It's just like behavior. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But so like so this is kind of like basically she always needs the collar on if she's outside of the house.
Yes. So let's say inside the house, she's an angel. You don't need the collar. Let's say when you have guests over, you notice that she's very jumpy and very all over them, and you kind of want to stop that. Well, then 30 minutes prior to the guest entering, you'd call her up, correct her as needed, and then let's say for the rest of the night, you find out that she's good. She just needs those few moments of stimulation on the e-collar in the beginning, and then she settles. Well, then that's what you would do. 30 minutes prior, call her up, correct her, and then she's going to be good for the rest of the night, and then you can just take off the e-collar and just let her hang out with the guests or whatever, the family and everything.
Are there any drawbacks to the e-collar? Do some dogs not respond well or get scared or anxiety from it?
Yeah, so sometimes dogs get anxiety from it. It's just in like the first few weeks, we need to so sometimes there's the emotional aspect of it, like, oh no, my dog's nervous, like the e-collar is making my dog nervous, which is not true. Your dog was already nervous. We're just now seeing it come up because e-collar is a stressor. So we work through that because we need to get over that hump. If we never work through that hump of anxiety, nervousness, or whatever we're seeing, then your dog is never going to progress or never gain the confidence and never know what the e-collar really means. So you might see, we might see that in the beginning, but as we keep working with her, exposing to the e-collar in different places, just having it on all the time, not using it, they'll get more comfortable with it, right? Does that answer your question?
I think so. So just like, have you ever trained a dog not on an e-collar, just like in the more positive with treats, like kind of
Yeah,
other
puppies.
Yeah.
Yeah, not dogs.
But we have a 6-month-old puppy. You think though that the e-collar is just more effective than the more positive discipline?
Positive discipline.
Meaning like treats, like meaning you're giving a negative, right? You're stressing the dog, you're shocking the dog.
Okay. So we incorporate food in our training.
Okay. So meaning like, let's say the e-collar dies one day, it's out of batteries. Like she
Yeah.
still should know how to walk on a leash in general, right? If there's like an accident or a big crash, maybe she'll go nuts, but will the dog know how to act without the e-collar on in any instance?
Yeah.
Okay.
So dogs have a thing called opportunistic behavior.
Mhm.
It's just a nature thing. So do you
Mhm.
guys drive on the highway?
Sometimes, yeah.
Do you guys go the speed limit?
Usually we try.
And then let's say, you're not going, but then you see a squad car. Everyone like slows down, right?
Yeah.
It's opportunistic behavior. If that we like to call the e-collar a cop on a collar. So there may be a chance where you have the collar on and it's dead, but she's being obedient. The moment you take the collar off, she might go back to, oh, I can pull now because there's no way to stop her.
Mhm.
It has nothing to do with the training. It has nothing to do with you guys practicing at home. It's just a nature thing. If we can see a opportunity, or like we get the chance to get away with something, we're gonna get away with it, right?
Mhm.
So like you said, if that collar dies, you might not see a change because she's not gonna know if the collar's dead or
Right.
not.
Yeah.
But she will know that if she presses the boundaries, or she does something and then there's no consequence, there might be a little bit of like, oh, I just got away with something. Why did I need to get corrected or whatever? You know what I'm saying? But it's not going to ruin the training. Like just for if it's like one walk and then your e-collar dies, it's nothing
Yeah.
bad will happen to the
Right.
training, right? You can technically untrain your dog, right? If you're allowing a lot of gray area and you're not being as strict, or you're not doing the homework after the board and train. Let's say the board and train goes, and then you know you're lenient, or like some owners will like look at their dog and like, oh, she's not walking next to me, but she's not pulling. Well, then you're gonna get a dog that's really pushing the boundaries, and then you'll end up untraining your dog, right?
Okay.
Your dog won't forget the commands. It's that they're gonna start acting back to what they were doing with you guys. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have you trained a lot of boxers on this?
For us, breed doesn't matter. For boxers, we were supposed to train two puppies, two boxer puppies, but I think they moved or something. But I think we've done a boxer mixes here and there, but not like a purebred boxer.
But just meaning, so you're saying breed doesn't matter. Like just because our old dog, I think, had a lot of box on her and she was very anxious and had like separation anxiety, and the e-collar actually worked great, but we kind of let it slide. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And then she was terrible again.
Our old dog, I could take my dog to work on the job site, so she's always with someone. So the few times that she's by herself, she'd just be all over the place.
Pepper?
She'd be watching.
No, our previous dog. So that's all we're saying is that, like, yeah, I guess this is just something we have to commit to, that this is her whole life on this e-collar.
Correct. Now, are you going to be pressing that button your whole life? No.
Okay.
Once trained, it'd be like, Jesse, or like, trainers' dogs here. We press the button like once a month, or once every other month. We're not actively using it. It's there just in case. It's just like you're like getting a little emergency back door.
Hmm.
Um,
And do
uh,
you just charge it every night, or what's the deal with
oh
that?
yeah, so yeah, you can. Battery lasts a long time, so I wouldn't be too worried about it dying on a walk, because it also lets you know, like, if it's a green light, you're good. It's gonna last like a few days. Now, if you get like an orange light or like a red light, it's gonna die. Battery lasts a long time.
Can it get wet in the lake? Like, can they swim?
Yeah, it's waterproof.
Yeah.
It's got that half mile range. It was used for hunting dogs, so it's got that, that's why it's got the range, right?
Mhm.
What else?
Okay.
How much do they cost?
For her, you might need to get the big girl collar, because since she's going to be a big dog, it's best to you guys just have that collar as she's growing up instead of buying like the puppy collar and then, or not, it's not really puppy collar, it's just for like little dogs. Instead of buying like a collar for every, stage of her life, it's best to get the big girl collar. But we've trained a 4-month-old Doberman before on e-collar, and by the end of her program, she was completely off-leash trained. It's just the way that trainers have to use e-collar for it to be successful. So we've done younger puppies before. Since she is 6 months, I'll have to speak to Jesse about this. We might have to use 1 week of prong collar training to have her grasp the concept of pressure. Because if we go straight into e-collar, and since she's right at that 6-month mark, it could be a little messy. And we could, since we're going straight into pressure without, because when we're working with younger puppies, like for Azula, for example, that 4-month-old Doberman, 1 week was prong collar training, teaching her what pressure means, and that you just follow the pressure and then you'll get food. After that, we layered e-collar over that, and it went smooth, right? Versus just starting e-collar when they've never felt pressure before. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So there might be a week where we might have to do that, but because she is right at the 6-month mark. And plus, if you're wanting the off-leash life, I think we would like to have that done, just so like you get a smoother training sessions with her, and there's nothing like, because if we don't do like the introduction to pressure, we can get what's called nervous piddling, where your Pepper will nervously pee through her puppyhood, or like her throughout her life.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I don't think so. Yeah, I guess the biggest thing for us is availability. Since we will be gone, we are really wanting to find a place that can accommodate while we're out of town, and she can be training, while boarding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll send you guys a follow-up email with the programs and pricing.
And availability?
Not availability. You'll have to let me know again, specifically what dates you're looking for. I can tell you right now, we're available. We had a bunch of boarding changes coming out of nowhere where we were unavailable, but we're starting to kind of get them out the way. They're going home and everything. So, and I also heard we're kind of slowing down with the boarding trains. So I'm pretty sure we'll be available for you guys. If anything changes, I'll let you know. But how it goes is consultation happens first. You guys let us know what program you want. Then the billing begins, and then booking begins. So once we start the billing, you guys will get your spot in the board and train and everything, or daycare and train first, then board and train. But
Okay. And we're happy to pay, but we don't want to pay until we guarantee our dates, because our dates are really important. So basically, June 1st on, we'd like it to start June 1st, and then June 11th we leave town. So
June 10th.
Okay, yeah, I'm telling you right now, you'll probably have spots. It's not,
okay.
I wouldn't be too worried about it, but that's just how things are working now.
Okay.
What else? And the only training she's had was food only, right? Positive? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions?
And so I assume while she boards with you, there's also potty training happening, right?
Yes. So
like rewards for pottying and outside?
Yeah, for sure.
So would you assume if she stayed with you boarding 2 weeks that she'd be completely potty trained coming out of that?
No. Potty training depends on the dog. Depends how well they grasp that negative concept of peeing in their crate overnight. Mm-hmm. It's part of the process when you get a puppy, just how, cleaning up the messes and everything. Will we make progress? For sure, we'll make progress. But it's just up to her when she will kind of be annoyed of her mistakes and everything in the crate. But we're very strict with potty. If we're doing potty stuff, it's, potty in the morning, and then depending on what hour schedule she's on, it's every one of those hours. And then before training, she's pottying. 15 minutes into playtime, she goes potty, so that we don't get accidents in the playpen. Some daycares allow that. They let the dogs pee inside, and then they go home peeing in the home. So that's where that happens. So we don't allow that here in the facility. We just talk them out to potty, and then they play. Since she's in potty training, 15 minutes into play, she's potty, and then after the play group potty, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of structure with the potty training.
Is she given a treat every time she potties when she's supposed to? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, potty training.
Is she taught to tell you, like,
No.
ring a bell, or no?
No. Because she's telling you when she has to go versus us putting her on a schedule when we want her to go. If she's telling you when she wants to go, then she's gonna potty in the kennel all the time. Because she's like, I have to go. No one's hearing me. No one's, I'm telling them I have to go, but they're not listening. So I'm just gonna go right now. Then that's where you get the issue of just her going when she wants to go versus her going when she's told to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we don't teach that, because then that's not accomplishing anything really. And then you also get those dogs who take advantage of the bell.
Mm-hmm.
I think one time Jesse had a client that a dog would ring the bell, they'll go outside, pretend to potty, and then just run around playing with the ball. Like they're taking advantage of it, right?
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I don't think so.
I think that's good.
Cool. So be a lookout for that follow-up email. What else? Trying to think if I missed anything. And then how big are we expecting her to be?
She's kind of a runt, so I like maybe 50 to 60 pounds. 50 to 75, I guess we don't know, but
How big were her parents, do you know?
I mean, the pictures they sent me were pretty big, but who knows if those are really her parents? We kind of got her from like a Craigslist.
Okay.
But yeah, other boxers that we see at the park that are the same age are just giant compared to her.
Okay. And then real quick, another thing we might do is most likely will do the prong collar, since she'll be a bigger dog, and it'll offer you guys more handling skills and control if she's going to be bigger. What else? If there's nothing else, I think that is it.
Yeah, we'll look out for the follow-up email.
Cool. And how'd you guys hear about us?
just Google Yelp like reviews. I think a Yelp or one of the web, I just Googled, nobody personally, but yeah, I found it online.
Cool. Yeah, if any questions pop up, you can email me and I'll do my best to answer them. But if that is all, it was nice meeting you guys.
Yeah,
Nice
likewise.
talking with you. I'm looking forward to having a boxer here. I like boxers.
Yeah, they're really sweet. She has a
Yeah.
really good personality. She just needs some help with her behavior and her body.
Guidance, yeah. Awesome.
All right.
Thank you guys.
So when will we expect an email, you think, in the next day or two?
Yeah, next day or two.
Okay.
It'll be like contracts you guys need to sign, and then I can send you guys the billing and everything for the e-collar. If you want to buy it through us or through Amazon, I'll send you a link and like options for you. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Cool. Awesome. You guys have a good night.
You too. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Enrique.